I'm back in the US and I want to talk about what it's been like to be away for almost 2 years in Denmark.
And I'm back in the US and I'm going to talk about what it's like to come back to the US after 2 weeks in Denmark.
On this Tuesday's Travelin' Young. We're the Youngs.
We've spent our lives traveling the world, and in 2018 we moved from
Chicago, Illinois to
Copenhagen, Denmark. Now we want to share with you
how our new lives abroad
is keeping us young. Keeping us young.
Are helping to keep us young. Okay, I am super excited to be here with my good friend Kyra, who you may recognize. But this time, rather than being in my living room, I can't talk, Kyra. After all the takes we just did, I still can't talk.
I know, it's like you ruined it.
I know, but I'm going to keep going. I don't care. I'm going to rock and roll.
Do it.
Hopefully there's not too much background noise because we are on location in Manhattan.
It's true.
And there's music going on over here, but I'm hoping our mics don't pick up too much of that. Fingers crossed, right?
Fingers crossed.
It was hard to find a quiet place in New York to do this.
Yes. And seats.
And seats also where I
Open
can stick the
seats.
camera without a tripod.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to hear what you thought now that you've been back. Well, you've been back for a month and a half now, but what was it like when you first immersed yourself back in America after your week and a half, almost 2 weeks in Denmark?
You know, it's so funny because I really was very cognizant of how angry everyone is back home. How angry people were driving, how angry people were waiting in line, how people were angry about COVID. Like, you explained the whole Denmark happiness thing as not so much what Americans call happy, but like that Danes have a sense of like contentedness.
Yeah.
And so I for sure missed the lack of contentedness among fellow human beings when I returned home to the US and Washington, D.C. And I mean, then that's like times 10 when you come to Manhattan because everyone here is angry.
Yeah, like the guy who sold us pickles today.
Right, like the pickle guy.
The pickle guy.
super, super angry. And kind of, can I say he was kind of a dick?
You can say that.
He was kind of a dick.
Yeah.
Which is ironic because he sells pickles, but whatever.
Yeah, but it's New York. So by that standard, I felt like he was just a normal New Yorker.
He was you kept saying he was a normal New Yorker, but I don't know. I suppose I hold people in higher standard. Yeah. So anyway, that was something I for sure noticed that. I noticed how just like maybe a little bit more high-strung everyone was, and like definitely a vibe that you don't get and that I didn't get in Denmark.
Well, you've been back now for a month and a half, so do you think you're
Correct.
back into the American vibe? Do you think if you went to Denmark today, you'd be like, these people are just so different than, you'd be like, it'd be a shock?
It's true, because I came back and I was a really calm driver for a little while, and then I just got back into being an equally angry driver and maybe getting impatient with people. And so I think I left Denmark really relaxed, and then I came back and I was relaxed for a little bit, and now I think I'm back up to my American level of anxiety and stress. So say what you will about that.
So what's their favorite thing that you miss other than well water, which I brought you 6 bottles. Thank you to all the people that suggested where I could buy it in bulk.
Yeah.
I bought some and brought 6 bottles for Kyra and Annabelle and the rest of the family. But other than that, what do you miss that you remember, that you like sit back and you're like, man, I would love to be here right now? Or
Right. I mean, I missed things, probably obscure things like the amount of daylight and the cool temperature being in a...
If you go now, the daylight part.
Right, not so much.
Yeah.
But I for sure missed it there. The cool temps, the fact that my hair wasn't frizzy or curly there was super nice. I missed hanging out with you guys, obviously.
I mean, we missed that too.
And Brisket and your great house. I missed... I really missed the time with Annabelle. We had such an amazing time connecting with each other, which was the whole point of that trip. And for sure, we came back in a really great place.
So there's a helicopter going by if you hear another random noise. You can't win in New York.
No, but she's been really, I think it really improved our relationship. So I miss having that one-on-one time with her and getting to spend that time with her. But we've also come back to a great experience together. And I mean, it was a lovely place to be. And I think for sure that that is it Luke?
Oh,
The-
Luke.
Luke.
Yeah, Luke.
Luke?
Happiness.
The happiness of Denmark. I really do. I sincerely miss that.
Well, it misses you.
Yay!
Now, what we're going to do real fast
Okay.
is you and I earlier
Mhm.
had a Try It On Tuesday in New York,
Yes.
which I'm going to just tell you now is something we know tastes good.
Mhm.
It's not some random gammeldansk or leverpastei or
Right.
anything else that we traditionally eat. but
We
it's something,
ate what we normally eat for you guys to try it on
Absolutely.
Tuesday back home in Denmark.
Or when you come to New York, because Danes
True.
love to come to New York.
So they don't have any bagels in
Not
Denmark?
you gave it away. All right, we're going to go
Oh.
to the Try It On Tuesday now. We'll talk more when we
Oh
come
my
back.
God, I'm so sorry.
We are here in noisy New York City for a special Try It On Tuesday where I'm going to eat a bagel. Danes, you guys need real bagels in Denmark. It's a disappointment. Kyra's with me,
Hi.
and Kyra here is going to eat some French toast, but we're not going to force
Challah
her.
French toast. Very specific. It's challah French
Challah
toast.
French toast. By the way, we're at, what is this called?
Kosar's Bagels and Bayless
Yes. And so I'm
institution.
not going to make Kyra eat on camera,
Thank you.
but I'm going to eat on camera, so I'm going to hand the camera to her, and this is her first time as Steven Spielberg here. Am I in focus?
You're focused.
You can move it back slightly.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Maybe. It's all good. So I got to say, one of my very disappointing things when moving to Denmark is that there's so few bagels, like fresh bagels, and I love bagels. So I had to get bagels here in New York. And this is a bacon, egg, and cheese bagel sandwich, guys. You are missing out, Danes. These are, oh,
Oh my God, it looks so good.
it's amazing. This is the first bagel that I've had, like a real bagel, not like some frozen nonsense at Netto, in a long time. So I know this is food I know for Try It On Tuesday, but you guys come to New York when you're in New York and get bagels. Come to Kosar's,
On the Lower East Side.
Lower East Side, and get some real bagels. And let's figure out how to get real bagels in Denmark. So that's it from the special New York Try It On Tuesday, where eventually you'll see the real video. But that's it for now. So as you know now, bagels.
Right.
I mean, as
And
I said,
challah.
challah, French toast.
You saw a little
Yeah.
glimpse of my challah
I
French
love
toast.
bagels, and like freshly made bagels are like impossible to find in Denmark. I'm gonna have to learn how to make them.
Oh, wow.
Maybe, I don't know.
That-
It seems
I mean-
like it's possible. Somebody makes them.
I think that what people say is that it's the water here that makes the bagel spectacular, and the pumpkin flour. But the water, it's the
Water
water.
in Denmark's super good though, but maybe
Is
it's not
it?
bagel making water.
I don't know.
Maybe I'll try.
I mean, I grew up in New Jersey, which is about an hour and a half from. It's just a hop, a skip, and a jump over a bridge. But the city that I grew up in was about an hour and a half from New York, and we had decent bagels. But I mean, when you come to New York City, you come for pizza and you come for bagels.
Yeah.
And so the bagels
Everything
here are remarkable.
I mean, you walk around actually, and you get anything here. It's like we were walking
True.
through Little Italy yesterday, and
Yeah.
a Chinatown. Was that Chinatown?
Chinatown,
Yeah.
yes.
And it's different languages, different things. I've been to Italy and China and parts of Asia, and it's just like you step yourself into like new. It's like you're a new country every couple blocks when you're in New York, so you
Yeah.
can get anything. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Even like the smells and everything
Right.
remind
Oh,
me of
it's
those places, you know?
It's a very
Yeah.
fishy smell
Yeah.
in Chinatown. But I think it's worth noting that if you come to New York City, if you come and spend any time on the island of Manhattan, that I cannot recommend enough the Lower East Side. I think is just a really wonderful place to be. Midtown is where all of the very famous touristy stuff is, and that's actually where we're sitting right now.
Yeah.
But I think it's just a really kind of magical place. It's where like the people of New York live.
Yeah.
And so I used to come to New York and I never liked it because we would always come to Midtown and I hate Midtown. And then I discovered the Lower East Side, and that's really the place to be.
I like the Upper West Side
You
because
just-
I like 2-3 blocks from Central Park, and I used to come. Well, I'm not going to talk too much about New York actually now because we're gonna have a video about New York.
That's true.
And the
You're gonna-
Intrepid, which was just right over there that we went on earlier. So I'll talk about New York probably without you. So I'm glad you added your thing. 'cause
Okay, yeah.
I'm probably
sorry about that.
no, it's good. I'm glad you did
Okay.
because I was concerned because I've been thinking while we're walking, like I've been videotaping us a little bit while we're out and about. But then this part, you're
Right.
probably not going to be a part of this part because I won't get to this part until I'm like back home in Denmark
home,
probably.
right.
So I might take snippets of this and show it to people again when we talk about New York. So I'm going to withhold my New York. I will just say I like the Upper West Side, but I'll tell you why later. Stay tuned. Eventually the New York video will be here.
But you want to talk about too what it's like to be back in the States after being gone for so long.
For 2 years, yeah, because this last time I was here, you and I were in New York actually in October of 2019.
Correct.
You met me here. We went to a concert. You and Annabelle came.
Annabelle came,
I was here for work, and then
we took the train
back to DC.
For the World
we went
Series.
to the World Series game,
Mhm.
and then I was back a couple more times for work. In December of 2019 was the last time I was here, and I met you actually at an IHOP. And we had some pancakes together or something.
Nothing about it is
in
international.
DC, not at all. In DC, International House of Pancakes is what IHOP stands for. And we did that last time. I was here almost 2 years ago. So because of COVID, I hadn't been here in so long. And I walked around DC one day. I obviously went around where I grew up in Virginia. And then now we're in New York. And I had memories of all those places because I used to come to New York every week for almost 4 years when I stayed in the Upper West Side. And then I lived in DC for many years. And this is the thing that hit me. This is the first time, like, I don't know how to say it. I'm going to try my best to describe this.
Okay.
I'm going to get meta or something. I don't know on you. Very deep now.
Okay.
Is when you live somewhere, I feel like there's these little memories that you just, like, you don't remember these little tiny micro things like, oh, Maya did this, or I walked down this street, or I went to this store. When you live somewhere, you just don't think in those terms.
Right.
Because you're around those things every day.
Right.
And you don't think about what does this corner mean, you know? But when you don't live somewhere and you walk on that corner, you get these flashes of things that are these memories. And this is the first time I've been back to the US where I felt like I've been gone so long that I was getting flashes of memories of all kinds of things. Like when I was in the city and I went by the CVS that you and I used to walk down 14 years ago, 15 years ago when we worked together.
Which I love. The irony of that is that now my daughter goes to that CVS after school.
I mean, we went there. We'd like take lunch, like not lunch breaks, just random breaks at like 3 o'clock.
Right.
And
go
we go
walk
to
and get something to drink.
Yeah, get a drink at the CVS.
Yeah.
I mean, we used to do that, and like to see that, I like those memories came back so fast, and like a place that I used to have lunch all the time. The streets I'd walk when I worked in DC, because I worked there for 10 years in downtown DC. And then growing up, I was like in Springfield, and I went, to the shopping places I'd go, and I just like remember these little things. Oh, I remember Maya's first day at school here. And when I lived there, I didn't think about those things as much. So it's just like, there's something about when some place is not your home where you live anymore, you have this different appreciation and these different recalls of the experiences that make it special to go back to. And walking along the mall in DC, walking on 6th and E, walking in all these places just did that for me. This trip, it hadn't done it in the past. Now, I don't know if that means I'm like so far removed from here now, it's not home so much anymore, that Denmark feels so much like home that I don't have those experiences there. And here it's just like all these special, I don't know how to interpret it exactly, but it feels so different this time. Because that first year and a half I was gone, I was back every 3 months for some reason, either for fun or work, because I was coming back for work a lot. And then it's just this massive break. It's just this strange transformation on how I feel.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, it
or
does.
If it's so deep and odd.
It does.
That
No, I feel the
I've been
same.
thinking about this since I've been back for like a week now almost.
I feel that way when I go home to New Jersey. I feel like I almost can't go back. If I went back, I have a different kind of fondness for it now and appreciation for it now that I certainly would not have had I never left. But I think, when you go back and you see those things, you just see them in a different, like as a grown-up, as, someone who has a couple more years under your belt.
That's also like the house that my parents live in is the house that I grew up in.
Yeah.
So they've been in that house for like 40 years now almost. And it's also weird because, I mean, there's this thing, you always say like things look so much bigger when you're visited as an adult versus when you're a kid. But my parents probably don't feel like the house has gotten bigger because they were adults when they lived in it and they've always lived in it, right? So but like when you just extract yourself for a long time and come back, it all seems smaller.
Yeah.
Everything felt smaller at my parents' house than it ever did before. And I've been there tons of times. I've spent so many years there, It's just weird. And So that's one big thing. The other big thing is I'm just so overwhelmed by the people, the noise,
The trash.
the trash. Yeah, it's just not so clean. Certainly not in New York.
Yeah.
That it's so like walking into a CVS is just like sensory overload. Going into a
Right.
giant food and just like walking the aisles and it's just like I just got lost. I'm like, how do I find this one little thing?
Yeah.
And then there's like 70 boxes of cereal and it's just super overwhelming
Yeah.
for the senses to come back here. But that I have experienced on previous trips before.
Mhm.
One time I went straight to San Francisco and I was so jet lagged and I walked into like a CVS and I was just like, I need to get out of here. I couldn't take it. But because this is so much calmer, I feel like, and quieter in Denmark, especially over the past couple of years because of COVID. It's just not as many people around everything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just, it is a very strange experience to having been gone so long. But when I hang out with you, it doesn't feel like I've been gone very long because I've known you so long. And I
Right.
saw you just a couple months ago
I
in
know.
Denmark.
I know.
And here we are hanging out in New York
Yeah, because that when I was in Denmark, that was the first time I'd seen you since
the IHOP.
2019. Yeah.
Since
So
we
quite some
had that
time.
international
Yeah.
meal
Right.
of pancakes.
Oh, well over a year and a half.
Yeah, almost 2 years ago.
I
Oh,
don't
that
even
was at
think
least,
I
yeah.
got the pancakes. I don't.
You
yeah.
probably got some egg and thing
Yeah.
or something. I probably got like everything because I had to get it while I could.
Right while
so,
you were there.
Yeah. All right. Well, I just thought it'd be fun to share. I wanted to get an update from Kyra because you guys haven't seen her in a
Yeah.
month and a half. And I wanted to share a little bit of my initial impressions. But as part of this trip, I did shoot some footage in downtown DC and in where I grew up and here in New York. Those are going to be probably separate videos. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do. It depends on how much I have. But stay tuned for all that. But today was just I thought it'd be quick, but when Kyra and I start talking, it doesn't get quick.
It's never.
And
quick.
it sounds like our helicopter's coming to take us away.
He said one take, 10 minutes.
Yeah, I don't even. This is what I don't have my timer.
I know.
It's not my fault.
Probably
I should have
20. I'm
set
sorry,
the phone
everyone.
right there.
Right.
I don't. It's all good. You guys, I'm sure you enjoy it. It's fun. Sometimes when we ramble, it's all good.
It's all good.
It's all good.
This was great. I hope you can hear us over the fountain and the
Yeah.
dogs barking and the helicopters
And the music, which has
the
died
music
down.
at the bar we're hanging out at.
This
next
is
to
New York.
the-
We're right. This is the we're right on the
Hudson
waters
River.
right there.
Somebody's gonna land a plane.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's the Miracle on the Hudson happened right there. Intrepid right there. We're like on, what? It's like close to probably 40th at this point, maybe.
Yeah.
And yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna stop.
You should stop now.
You'll see more of New York later, but I hope you enjoyed this. And there you have it. Kyra, thank you so much
You're
for joining.
welcome.
And you'll see elements of Kyra on the New York
Maybe.
video whenever it comes.
Yeah. We're just
And-
randomly walking around.
Random things.
It's just the back of me.
Oh,
lots of-
you talked.
Do I? Oh, I do talk. Yeah.
You talked when we were on the
I
Intrepid.
do.
You talked.
That's true. I did talk when we were on
There
the
you go.
Intrepid.
All right, we've got back into the mode.
Damn it.
Thank you for joining, Kyra.
God, all
Annabelle
right.
says hi,
Yeah, she's in school right now.
and and she got a mail egg. How do you say it? Mail egg?
Oh,
Mail egg?
I don't know. You're asking me? I don't know.
I brought her one from Denmark.
These cute little mice that all of my girls love. They're like, they live in a little matchbox. They're adorable.
Yeah,
They have
and
striped
it's a
shirts.
Danish thing.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna say goodbye now.
Bye.
Bye.
Ready. Can't wait.
Let's get back just a hair.
Me too?
No,
Oh.
you can.
Okay.
I'm just big.
Okay.
The further back I am, even the smaller I look.
Okay.
If I'm way back here, it's like, wow, Josh shrunk.